Alright, so here we are at our new house. Our closing was today, and this afternoon we were able to officially come in. But because of it being somewhat later in the day, we did not rent a U-Haul yet, and we don't have any of our stuff in here yet. Tomorrow, I work, but after work, I'm going to bring in some stuff, so we're going to get that ready. And then Thursday, I have off, and we are going to rent the truck then and bring in our furniture. So what you're going to see is basically an empty house with just us. And I can still show it to you though. This, of course, is the front porch, complete with porch swing. And the side yard here is also pretty nice. There are a lot of trees and shrubs here that I don't know because I don't really know my ornamentals, but I do know those which are native, at least usually, so I can recognize some things. Anyway, we have a great big silver maple right there. It's really a beautiful tree. And then, let's see, I'm gonna come inside and show the interior first, since that's the part most people want to see. Here is our entryway with the welcoming dogs, of course. And here's where you would hang up your coat. And let's see, then we have, this is the upstairs, but we'll show the downstairs first. Alright, so, trying to find the light for in here. Oh, there isn't one. Okay. So for in this room, looks like you have to have a floor lamp. But here it is. What's that? And this is the living room. I always get living and family room confused, so if I said it wrong, whoops. And this is the dining room right here. So we'll get the light on. And right now most things are this very neutral color. I really want to paint things, but Chris doesn't want to yet. And he says we should let it be this color for a while so we can kind of get a feel for what we want to do. And that's a fine idea, I agree. So, and of course, out the dining room, you can see the really beautiful backyard. I do wish we had bigger windows, is the only thing that I wish was a little bit different. Alright, here comes the kitchen. We do actually have new appliances to put instead of these, but these are here now. And it's got a pretty good amount of counter space. This is our new toaster oven. It's our first thing that we brought over. That and a TV. So, this is of course a great spot for chopping and food prep. We'll be able to keep our stuff out for once. Things like the food processor and all those types of things. This is one of my favorite features of all, the back deck. It's quite large. Would be a really great space for having parties if we ever do that again. And this is the, I guess you would say, family room. Like I said, I get confused on living and family rooms. Always have my whole life. Never quite figured it out. But here it is. So yes, wood paneling I know is kind of retro and fun for some of you guys. And fireplace. And we're very excited about our mantle and hearth. So Chris in particular has got great plans for decorating it. I look forward for our Halloween decorations being up here though, because I've missed them. We didn't put them out at our house because we were about to move, so why would we bother? Alright, the garage is out that way, right there. It's an attached garage, but I'm going to first go upstairs. So, this is the downstairs bathroom, and it's quite small, kind of makes you feel like it's in a ship's cabin or something, like you're out at sea, but perfectly functional. So, turn that off, and then we will move up the stairs. I wanted Chris to do this talk with me because he knows all the fancy architectural names for things, and I don't, but he was too shy. All right, so I can't find the light switch. We'll have to come up here without it. Oops, watch out, little Winyo. All right, so not a ton of different rooms up here, which is the main difference from our house right now. Most of it is downstairs, which I like better. This is the master bedroom. Not hugely gigantic, but definitely sufficient. The bed will be right there. And the bathroom. So I don't think our bathtub is quite as big as the one we have now, but it is still okay. And there's the rest of the stuff. 2 sinks, so we can both wash our hands at the same time and brush our teeth simultaneously. How fancy. All right, so in the tradition of childless folks, we each have our own spare room. So here's gonna be mine, also the rat room, and I like the fact that everything here looks very safe for the rats, so I don't have to worry. The heating vents are much more modern than in our current house, and they're gonna be in here, and my spare bed's gonna be in here, fish tank, different things like insects and whatever little critters that I have for a while will be in this room too. So this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have some good stuff for the rats too, like all their climbing toys and stuff. And this is basically Chris's spare room, which he said he wants to turn into a kind of like a little study or computer room. All right, so now let's see. I go around, and Chris has said that this floor plan here is a lot like the house I grew up in, where my dad lives now, and I like it that way very much, so it makes me happy. It's just very open. All right, here comes the basement. This is gonna be where the litter boxes are. It's also got some very special features that I'm quite excited about. Let's let it come into focus here. All right, so I love this basement. You may think it looks like a basement, but I think it has great potential. This over here is going to be my painting table, and this, when it has a door, and don't worry, these scraps of old carpet will be gone. This is gonna be Puka's room, and it's going to have all kinds of things for her to climb. I'm going to have to make the wall, well actually my dad is, to block all of these appliances from her so that she can't climb up and get in any of them. But look here, here is a closet for stashing animal supplies. And I think also if I ever do get into wildlife rehab, which I would really like to do, some of this would be a good rehab space because it has its own sink right here and everything. And I think it'll be really an easy cleanup kind of space to have this cement floor. And then I can just put like big blankets down and then wash them as needed. I'm gonna put all kinds of cool things for her to climb around on while she's down here. And of course she'll have access to the yard as well. So this side over here is, Chris said he's gonna have this be his kind of art table where he can do various things. He probably doesn't want to talk about that though because he's very shy. But we each are gonna have our own workbench then, so he thinks it'll have him doing more arts than he has. So these are the 2 basement rooms over here, and then on the other side we have our D&D room. So this is going to be the gaming room, or the dungeon, as we're calling it. We're going to have a big table for playing D&D, and it's going to be kind of permanently set up. Then on the walls we're going to have all of our figures and shelves with all of our D&D books, so that everything is just right here in this one space. So pretty good. At least that's our plan for right now. So then up we go. And I will quickly show the garage. I don't have loads to say about it. But Chris is very excited about the storage potential. How do I get to the garage? Oh, here it is. Okay. So, watch out, Winya. Alright, it's a big garage. We can definitely fit both of our cars in, as well as Chris is very excited about storing stuff in here. So he says there's going to be racks and racks of storage in our garage. All right. Now I will show briefly my favorite part, the yard. All right, so, yeah, when your does look tangled. Here we are stepping out across the back deck, and yes, all the backyard will be fenced for the dogs, hopefully very, very soon, because until then, they have to be on these tie-outs, especially Wunyo, just in case, Wunyo, I know. Got it? So the yard here has almost an acre of land. We kind of own just barely into the woods, unfortunately. But the woods are owned by, I think, the person who has that White House over there. So it is like a kind of landlocked piece of woods where nobody could really build in because it's between houses. So hopefully that bodes well for the future of our privacy here, which was, of course, one of the main features and probably my most important feature of all. So I was looking at the edge of the woods here, and the people who lived here before, they must have been really into ornamentals. There are a lot of ornamentals planted throughout the woods, but they do have a lot of maple, mostly red and sugar maples. More red maples than I usually see, actually. There are some varieties of pines which were intentionally planted. Why, I don't know, because they're in a stand of deciduous trees. And a lot of tulip trees as well. There's also a lot of these butterfly bushes, which have really attracted a lot of butterflies. I've already seen a painted lady, let's see, a fritillary, and 2 monarchs, as well as some bumblebees and honeybees. And we have a bumblebee right now. So that's great. And of course, we are going to scatter the seed of all of our native plants out here as well. We mostly, at our previous house, grew native prairie plants. So we're going to put them kind of at the edge here where they still have a lot of sun. And hopefully that will come back hugely. They usually do really, really well because they're native and they just really take off. And if so, well, then we'll have a lot of native plants to show. And it would be really good for all the pollinators as well, because we're going to definitely have lots of milkweed for the monarchs and all types of really wonderful flowers full of nectar. So this shed I love. It's kind of like a little clubhouse. And Chris wants me to put my riding lawnmower out here, which I might, but I kind of like it as it is. I also think maybe it could be a good animal rehab space if I were to get into doing that. Make sure that's shut. Poor Wunyo. I'm sorry. Buster, come on back. You're gonna get yelled at. Saw you eating something out there. Oh yeah, and there has been deer poop as well in the woods, but also by our apple trees. So this is the edge. Chris would like to have a circle back there. If you don't know what that means, then don't worry about it. Let's see. So this whole area is just a nice flat lawn. We do want to put a lot more trees and native plants in here. Put a vegetable garden maybe right about there to the left of that shed. And this is the little orchard which right now has got 4 wonderful apple trees. That's why I'm calling it Possum Orchards, because hopefully possums and other wildlife are definitely attracted to the apple trees. And that's pretty late in the season for apples, so all you really see are a few withered ones. But earlier in the year when we first came out, these trees were full of apples, and the deer have been here. I found a lot of deer scat around one of these trees. I don't recall which. And the wonderful thing about this row of pines is that it blocks the house over there from view. The house over there is really set back a ways across a tiny little creek as well, so they're not really up against us at all. All right, so, oh yeah, and with this place being kind of like a little orchard here, I want to put a lot of other fruit trees as well. I'll have to look into which ones, but I'd like to have some cherries, maybe some pears, stuff like that. And here's the other side of the house, right there. And poor little Wunyo is very sad. This is why tie-outs are sad for him. I know, Wunyo, you can't go everywhere I'm going. I know. You will get to, once we have a fence. Yeah, because you don't know where you are just yet. You might just go and start running around. You could. It could happen. Don't you think? It could happen. You're such a good dog. You're going to love this place, Wunyo. Do you even know what we're doing here? Do you know this is our new house? Oh, you'll figure it out, huh? At first, in the house in particular, they're kind of standing there like, what are we doing here? What are we supposed to do? There's no people here. There's nothing going on, but you brought us in here. They look at us all expectantly. I could just kind of hear their wheels turning. So this is a nice little fire pit area where we can definitely have some fires. Oh, and one of the best things we're going to be able to do is actually look up at the stars. That may seem like an obvious thing to a lot of you guys, but remember, we have been living in the city of Canton, and it never gets dark there. Never. It's always kind of this purple haze, and from all the street lights, it just never gets dark. We can never see the stars at all. So it'll be really cool to be able to come out here, because we've been really wanting to learn our constellations, and it's hard to do when you only see stars when you're someplace else. So we can come out here with this new app that Chris has on his tablet and look up and learn the constellations. And he in particular has got a lot of books on them as well, and kind of the mythology behind the constellations and their meanings. So it's really pretty cool and exciting. Another thing we're going to get to do in the wintertime is make snowmen, which I'm really excited about. And maybe even like a snow igloo, because I've been doing that at my dad's. I'd like to do those kind of things with Wunyo, so we could have one in our very own yard. Because before, our yard was just really too small to even roll a ball of snow across. So this is great. I really feel like this is like a huge, exciting moment. Chris says there's a hawk again. We've been seeing this hawk like all day, and every time he's come here, because he's come several times without me, he has seen it, but now I don't. I meant to take you in the woods a little bit more too.